Well, this is kind of a silly tale of something that would drive me crazy when I had to make my services work with the front end developers. When you make a relatively simple create React app, it's pretty common for people to not bother to do anything about the fact that the homepage isn't set, because I want to be able to do a build of a React app, tar it up, and just mount it anywhere inside the tree. Because a big corporation would be like 1,000 applications mounted under the corporate tree, and the application should work. You should not say things like slash images slash logo.gif because you don't own the tree. You say dot slash images to refer to the images that you own in the tree, etc. It's the same issue with services and whatnot. But do understand that people want to develop with React. They want to use the localhost server on port 3000. So I asked ChatGPT to make me a little utility, and it's pretty cool. So here I told it to write a Go reverse proxy. It takes some environment variables, and I want them in specific order. So I'm calling like R proxy 0, R proxy 1, whatever. And what I want to say is when I see the prefixes for the service, like slash files, I want it to mount to talk to the service on slash files, etc. Um, it's changed a little since then. Let me show you the values that I'm actually using for this. So, what I do is I need it to be in this order. I need my services for my back end. Fortunately, the prefixes don't collide with anything that's going on in React. So what I do is I basically mount in my React app over top of my service in the front. So this is the port 3000 guy, and everything else is 9381. So my endpoints like registration, files, search, get my credentials. It'll check for those first, and it'll fall back on a React app. That way, it doesn't like run into any of them. So what the script does is it runs npm start, and it waits a while because it does a clear screen. And then after it's waited a little while, it'll bring up Docker Compose, and then it will bring up the reverse proxy itself. So this was generated entirely by ChatGPT, and it worked on the first try, except the issue of the URLs coming in a random order, and you definitely have to have the React UI come last to prevent any conflict. But in any case, yeah, that actually worked. So I built a React app, and I had the home page set to dot. So let's do a little demo. So what happens? It launched it, and it used the registration URL, so that like if you get mailed a link, you can come in, and what it'll do is it'll set that to a cookie and forward you into the app. Okay, so I'm in my little React app where the whole point is to be able to do things like type the word dog, and when I type the dog keyword, I go in, and it did a search, and so what it does, it compares to the tree to the search. And so what it will do is it will basically make a path to everything that matches. And the reason why it knew that this was a dog is because the AI pipeline did a labeling on it, and the word dog came up. And if it said that there's a person, then it would do celebrity detects. But in any case, let's see where else we got the dog. The word dog shows up in these books of the Bible. I didn't keep the context that came back from the search, but it totally could keep them in the tree, so that like I can have hover over it and like show the actual text that caused it to match, because I do have highlighted text, so I can see the sentences that match. I just didn't put them in this React UI though, right? But here's the really cool part. I get it that it's not fun to be doing your development in React and not being able to like use the tools as they are. But check this out. Because I've mounted the port 3000 in front of it, this aggro, I would say, that I would get into when I'm dealing with React developers to like do things like in a way that fits in well with backend. Um, it's not for nothing that I don't want people using React on port 3000, but if you must do so, then do it like this. Do reverse proxy over it, right? That way, the cookies are from, actually, let me save it. And as soon as I save this, see it's hot loading like it should. So you can do like your normal crazy develop really fast using this app. Even though compiling it and pushing it up into the tree doesn't take that long, it only takes like maybe like 4 or 5 seconds to do that. If I just you can do up arrow on install script. But doing this, I don't have to do a build. I can like actually kind of use the React app as it was like meant to be used, which is pretty cool. So one of the things about that is that I've overlaid this in front of what is on port localhost 9321. So this is the app without the React overlay over top of it. What I did do is I mounted it inside of here. Instead of go to files and I go to init, I do actually get the latest version of the React app as it was installed before. Let's see. I wonder if it's going to work because I set the home page to dot. I might need to set it to something else. But I'm thinking that, yeah. So I broke the one that was actually like mounted into here. But that does mean that I could just like install it as a root app. But in any case, yeah. So I don't really have a need to mount it in here. Because what I can do is I can just do this. Heck, I could even do this in production even maybe. Just put your port 3000 if you modify the source code and if you really want to use the React app, yeah, you can go ahead and do it. But that was kind of like an unexpected thing. So the only issue is because the one that I built is sitting under here, what I would have to do instead is I would have to run the install UI. However, I would have to go into the app in the place where I set the this is what I don't like about this being set. Fine, I can set the home page, point to the actual server, right? And what I can do is this is what I was doing actually, is then I was installing it into the UI. And I kind of went around it and wrote into the volume mount, so there's a precision volume mount. But see, it doesn't take that long. So the one that's actually stored inside the server, I think this might actually be enough to make it come up. Yeah, I have to figure out why. That was just something I just now thought of. But yeah, this is like how you should do it. Like don't do like a whole bunch of crazy stuff where you're like reconfiguring your app and doing weird stuff like putting the endpoint in. Like you should be able to like mount it like where it wherever it ends up being. And so in this case I just put it on the root, and that means that I can actually install this application at the root. There may be some trickery you have to do with the public URL. What are the environment variables? Like when you start up React, you can set the public URL to like say dot, so that so it's not like hard coded to a home page. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to prevent it from doing like crazy stuff like referring to images, logo.gif or right PNG from your application, because you're just sitting in it somewhere deep inside the tree. Like there's a whole company tree, and You should do that. You should not be doing that because that pretends that you actually own the whole tree. That would drive me insane when people write React apps that can't be mounted in arbitrary locations in the tree. I'm not sure how you should deal with it, but create React app actually doesn't work out of the box. Out of the box, I have to do this, or else, like when I build the, show you the React app that I did install. So this guy, I just tarred him up, and because homepage was set to blank, he just works out of the box. And where's it? Yeah, index.html. Right. This app is mounted in an arbitrary location tree, and because I set public role, it's not doing dumb stuff like something like that. That would drive me insane. But that's like an interesting find. And I guess while I'm at it, I'll show like why it is I'm doing this here. Is I did put in here, like, say if I look for, if I spelled it right, yeah. And I got to a point where yeah, so there's a hit on Oppenheimer, and it's colored white because it matches. And yep, that's the thumbnail for it, and it's like the full image. And because I did all this AI stuff, like I just upload the raw Oppenheimer image, and it creates a thumbnail. The whole reason it hit is because like labels and celebs get indexed because they're text file, but they're text files relating to this file, so that's why this file shows up in search. So the search actually looks a bit better. It even handles cases like if I do moderation on things, and it painted the lettering on this red says, "Be careful! Don't just show somebody to anybody. Blur it." Oh my God! It's the infamous Nicki Minaj lollipop pic. Right. So what can happen is if you do content moderation, and it'll say like female underwear, yeah, female swimsuit or underwear, right? So the idea is if you get a content moderation, it shows up in your index. You have options. You can boot the user that updated it, right? Because the user owns his own account and he can read and write in his own directory like this. But if he does that, then you have an option for disciplining that person. So so let's open Safari real quick. I guess let's just go ahead and demo all the other features. It's mostly the same demo before, but now I have a React app, basic stuff going. So if I launch Safari, yeah, here we go. And I'm not sure if the cookie is still set on it. Oh, it wouldn't be because it's a completely different user. It's because it's going through port 9000. It's a little bit different from what it's doing before. So, yeah, and it did actually, actually I can get out of the script. So let's go into the script, and let's use this URL inside of Safari. And I want to use that. I haven't done this before. I'm doing a live demo. Will it work? Okay. So so let's look for cats. And if I look for a picture of a cat, it's not on my account, but it's a read-only location. I wonder what's in here. So this is who I am, and all I have in here is this picture of a husky. Because I'm Donica. And if I go in here, I find that a different user has uploaded a picture of a cat somewhere. There you go, that one. And I can still get to the rest of the API. Let me do it from my other user. So the first thing, because I mounted in the, it doesn't find that one. I haven't tried that yet. Cool. Testing. I'll figure out why. But in any case, if I go in here, I have rewrite privileges on it. And remember, the reason why I could go to 9231, which is way more like reliable because it's just plain old HTML. But I'm here specifically because I have a React app here, and I'm working on it. And while I'm working on the React app, I want things to just like hot load, right? You know, turn that text blue, and it just shows up blue. So that's the compromise. Where you can like make everything like work right. But I'm going to keep going. I'm not much of a front end developer. I barely know React, and yeah, I've been learning quite a bit in like in the last 48 hours, just trying to like get good enough to like make something like this. But anyways, I guess that's enough for the demo. I wonder if launching actual text, will it launch right? Yes, it launches right. Right, because I've simply overlaid the npm server in front of it with a trivial little Go program that I'm going to check in, and it's only like 75 longs, and ChatGPT wrote it for me, and it worked on the first try. Other than I did have to fix it up a little bit to make sure that the URL was in order. But that's it.